All right guys, listen up. Ryobi came out with an HP series of tools that are labeled job site ready. So in this video and all our other HP series Ryobi tools, we are putting them to the same abuse that we would any other job site tool. Make sure you keep that in mind when you watch this video or any of our other videos on the Ryobi HP tools. In this video, we will be pushing this Ryobi impact driver to show you what it's about and just generally give you an idea where its upper limits are going to be. Stay tuned. The Ryobi 1 Plus HP compact brushless impact driver shares the exact same specs and pretty much exact same components as the Ryobi HP 1 Plus brushless 3/8 inch impact wrench. The difference being the impact wrench has 4 modes that are selectable at the bottom, where the Ryobi impact driver is going to be controlled simply by the variable speed trigger. You have an impressive amount of inch-pounds of torque, which is 1700. It's labeled as up to, so you have 2900 RPMs, 3800 IPMs or impacts per minute, which is pretty good. It does not compare at all to the Milwaukee Fuel. This is, I believe, 4300 RPM and 3600 IPM. Size-wise, quite a bit of difference, even though this is a little bit bigger around. But even in the battery situation on the bottom, they're fairly similar, but top-wise, there's no doubt the Milwaukee is a lot smaller and will be a lot more quality tool per se. It's going to perform a lot better. The one thing I really like about the Ryobis is the one-handed bit release. And this is a heavier bit, so it does throw them a little further than I expected, and you can push them back in with one hand. That's sweet. I wish that was on a lot more tools. Simple here with this LED light. We're not going to talk about what this LED light is supposed to tell you if the tool is overheating or anything. That is in the manual. I have not been able to get that to work in most situations. You have your forward and reverse control and a lockout in the center of the tool. Not much to it, very basic. Let's get to using it. The tests I have in front of me are going to push the tool a little bit, at least I think, but also show you a little bit about what they will do. First, I just have some self-tapping metal screws. That's not going to push the tool at all, but it was just interesting to me to just see what it will do. You're going to see, hopefully, this do perfect at it. It's easy to control. I just stripped that one. This is where I wish we had multiple different levels and where I would actually use the auto on this one so that I didn't actually over torque these small screws. Once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to use, but in some cases for people who aren't used to these tools, it could slow you down. Especially for something in metal, when we're working with this, we can just drop that bit out, which is super nice. Again, something easy just to push a bit in, it works. This too, if you're just driving deck screws, simple 2-inch drywall screws. It's easier when this piece of wood is not here. We're not talking about anything hefty here at all. Personally, I'd like just to throw this out there. This is a CP 3.0 battery in this Milwaukee, but just check this out, level 3. So much more, to me, controllable, easy to use. It'll bury the screw where I'm sure this will bury the screw, but it doesn't seem as powerful by any means. See the speed difference, and I can easily stop it before that screw is just down there. The impacting, there's a huge difference between the two. This is where I'd like to push this tool a little bit and also show you a little bit more of where this tool is probably going to reach its max. These are 6-inch lags, very small lags. It should drop these no problem. You'd see this a lot on a job site. no doubt building decks or anything like that. This is going to be used lots of different scenarios that you're going to see these in the GRKs, but seems a little long. Forgive me guys, it's also really loud. We'll just switch over. I only have half a battery in this Milwaukee, but it's just going to be interesting to see how this does. Really no comparison. I'm hoping that their prices are nowhere near each other, but for job site tools, which one, are you going to pick if time is money? But that doesn't necessarily mean that people won't use this on the job site. I'm just going out to point out that they're both compact tools and there's a huge difference in speed between them. Let's keep dumping some of these in and see if this gets hot at all. We are done. We have a half battery gone already. And we didn't sync that one. Here's a 6 amp hour in this. Still not putting that one down. Let's put another one next to it because the tool's starting to feel really hot. So there could be something in that wood if it's a knot or anything. I'm not sure, but let's keep going. So just in case you're wondering, we dropped 1 bar in the 6 amp hour, but this 6 amp hour is an HP battery. It has multiple different places that you can actually connect to. This tool only uses the 2 positive and negative connections. Let's drop another one in, see what happens. Interesting, saw a little smoke there. Unsure if you guys can see it, but we are smoking out of the front of the tool. I'm going to bring you in quick, see if I can let you guys see some of the smoke. I think it was this one that was hard to bury. Let's just hammer on it and see if it starts smoking. Interesting. So that's the 1 amp hour battery. We got this to smoke. Let's put the thermal imager up on this and see what happens. Front of the tool, 166. That's warm. And I don't believe it's the actual bit that is smoking, because it's coming from the front, inside, behind the collet, and coming forward. It's warm. There's no doubt there. "167 degrees is hot for a tool, and I don't know what's going on here. This tool is still smoking a couple minutes after the thermal imager test. So why is it getting so hot? Because I know a lot of you guys are saying, hey, that LED feature of it cutting out, you know, something should work, but we don't really care if the LED works. But on a job site, if I'm protecting this tool, I don't want it to get that hot that it's burning itself up or smoking, you know, because we've had other tools smoke. We've smoked other Ryobi tools. I threw that other one back outside. This one's in the same bit, and I've got something else going on inside here. Not only is this tool incredibly hot back here, but I've got some different things happening up here. I need to bring you in so you can see this. So we're at the point where the front of this guy is actually starting to melt a bit. So if we take that out, and I need to get probably just the right angle so you can see, and I know I'm having light issues here. There we go. See that top, how it's kind of bubbling? If I set this guy down right up in here, this tool is hot to hang on to, but I'm getting kind of a wearing or bubbling effect around the rubber overmold up front, or if that's actually plastic. Man, this sucker's hot. So that's not rubber overmold, that's plastic that is physically bubbling up front. The rubber overmold in back around the vents, I don't know if you can see it back here, it is actually showing signs of heat also. And man, that tool is hot to hang on to. Anything touching this tool in this area that's about as long as I can hang on to that guy. So I did not finish all the testing I had planned. I'd like to have put some of these spade bits in here, do a little drilling, test some more things out, but as you can see, I'm getting this tool significantly warm, well beyond warm. The handle is okay, but even after a little bit, putting your hand anywhere up top is definitely not good. And then the fact that I'm physically bubbling plastic up front, and there's no way I could touch the coupler, there's just no way. It's too hot. And I'm gonna go back to this upgraded electronics that Ryobi is touting, because A, this is a job site tool, B, they've put some great electronics in here, and the one thing that we've all complained about with Milwaukee is, oh, I could get it to cut out, or oh, I got it hot and the tool stopped. And it's protecting itself. And we've all bashed on it and said, hey, you know, when can we get that brushless motor to cut out thermally? In what sort of duty cycle can it fit the job site, because what we have going inside this tool gets too hot? And if you've bagged on the Milwaukee drills or this, then you come up to the fact that these drills may get to 135, 140 in our videos. And then you look at the Ryobi that's, man, it's getting to 160 plus. So if you got something that you can hardly touch at this point, that when you even tap on it in the front, I mean, that's as long as I can keep my hand on it, that sucker's hot. Where's the electronics? Why aren't we getting this light to show up here? The tool's still working, the tool is smoking when we use it. Why isn't this light saying, hey, overload, or you're pushing too much force? Never got it. We went from a small battery that came with it, we bumped up to the 6 amp hour, it didn't matter. We went around to different things, it's just not working and it's getting hot. And I absolutely hate to sit here and bag on tools. I know that Ryobi didn't come out with this tool to say, hey, we're gonna make a piece of crap that's gonna get really hot and it's not gonna work. I know they didn't do that. They came out and said, this is better than what we've had before, so that's good. We're still on this tier. It's a great tool, and in fact, for this tier, it's job site quality. I think they're pushing the job site quality a little bit too much. All the tools that we tested, we pushed way too hard. Go back and look at them all. We've smoked a couple of them. They all work, but we've smoked or wore many of them out, pushing them way too hard. I can't say that enough. These tools are probably great for a lower tier level, light duty use, light duty job site, and you'll be fine. We've pushed well beyond. So if you're gonna put any of these lags in, multiples over time, this tool is not enough. Obviously, and it's not fast enough for most because this Milwaukee was almost twice as fast, I would guess. But either way, it's sad when I can hang on to the fastener that was put in and out and I can't hang on to the physical tool. I hate bagging on this stuff. It's just the truth. You guys watched me test this the whole way through. And I hope you've seen exactly what I did. You've seen the smoke when I did. I know smoke is a little bit hard to see on that camera, but either way, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Don't just come out and say, oh, it's junk, oh, it's junk. I mean, TTI makes it all, right? They have the technology to make these tools however they want to make them for the tier that they're at. But why are they pushing the job site thing? Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I would love to hear that too. So get in those comments. Let me know what you're thinking. As always, I appreciate your time. Give me a like in this video if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great day.